Hi guys, welcome and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you how to sew this beautiful gathered bustier square neckline dress with a gigot sleeve. Please take note, this is the sewing tutorial. I already have the drafting and cutting tutorial up there on the channel. In case you have not watched it, I'm going to be leaving the link at the card. So check the screen of your phone. You're going to see a link popping up on the screen. Click on it to watch or check the description or comment section for the link. Go ahead and watch the drafting and cutting tutorial video before you watch this one. So without talking too much, let us dive into why we are here. So guys, I've gone ahead to use my pattern to cut out on my fabric, and I added ½ inch at the center front and also the side front for journey allowance. So just like as you can see in this video. The next thing I'm going to be doing is to go ahead and notch the under bust at the side front like this. Please pay attention and see what I'm doing. Notch the under bust. Then I also come to the center front and notch the under bust like this. So once I'm done notching it, I'll go ahead and remove the pins, then remove the pattern papers. So afterwards done removing it, this is the lining, so as you can see. Then this is the main material. Then this is the second lining. So I wanted to cut out 2 lining for this dress, okay? While for the side front, I wanted to cut out 4 linings, 2 for the left and 2 for the right. The reason why I wanted to cut out two lining, like double lining, is because I don't have hair stay or cloth stay at home. So I was supposed to iron cloth stain on it. So because I don't have cloth stay, that is why I wanted to cut out two lining just to give it a strength. But if you have cloth stain at home, go ahead and iron it on your main material. So if you don't have hair stay at home, you can also use this method. I hope it's well understood. So just watch and see how I'm going to lining the main material. So first of all, you're going to open your first lining like this to the front. Okay, this is the right side of the lining. Then you're going to open your main material, the right side like this on it. So the two right sides are both going to be facing up. I hope you guys understand. Don't turn it, like don't lining it as if you want to turn it. Just place the center front at the center front of the lining. Take to the same machine and stitch it down like this. Just go ahead and stitch it down like that. Then you are going to be doing the same thing for the side front. So just go ahead and open the lining to the front. Make sure the right side is facing up. Then place the right side of the main material facing up too. Okay, like this. Just place it together. Then take to the sewing machine and stitch it down like that. Just stitch it down like that. Okay. This is the back part of the dress. I will just go ahead and remove the pins and the pattern paper. So for the back, I just went ahead to cut out 2 lining. Okay, I only cut out 2 linings. So I'll go ahead and place the right side of the lining to the right side of the material. I'll go ahead and stitch it down. But before I stitch it down, I'll go ahead and iron paper stay on it. So you can go ahead and iron paper stay on your lining, both the front and the back. I will take this to the sewing machine. I will go ahead and sew the side like this. Then I also sew this zipper allowance. Then I also sew the other side of the back. So guys, I'm done sewing it. The next thing I'm going to be doing is to give it a very good press. So this is the side front, and I've also gone ahead to sew the center front. So once you're done sewing it like this, just go ahead and iron it. After I was done ironing it, this is how it looked like. As you can see how smooth and clean it is. So I'll just turn this to the back and iron the breast tube on it. So I'll turn it to the back like this. This is the breast tube. I'll just remove the pattern paper. Then the side that has the gum, this side, I will place it on the material like this. I will pin it down. Then I'll go ahead and place the other side of it on it like this. I'll also go ahead and pin it down. While for the center front, I will remove the pattern paper, then place the breast pad at the down part. Okay, not the top, the down part. Go ahead and pin it on it like this. So after pinning it, I will just go ahead and iron it. After I was done ironing it, this is how it looked like. I will just go ahead and trim out the excesses at the side. So after trimming it out, I'll go ahead and join the sides together like this, right side facing each other. So I'll first of all go ahead and pin it from the under bust, okay, the part where I said you should notch. Please guys, pay attention to what I'm about to say. After I was done pinning it from the down part to the top, I then realized that the side front was longer than the center front. Can you see it? One side is longer than one side. Can you see it? The center front is a little bit short. In fact, I went ahead to unpin it and repin it again. It was still the same thing. I pinned the other side. It was still the same thing. So the reason for this, which I suspected, probably is because of the way I drafted it. Remember when I was drafting it, I went ahead to cut out the center front from the side front, then place it on each other to continue adding my sewing allowance and whatever allowance I added. I hope you guys still remember. So I believe that was the reason why one was longer than one. So the difference between the side front and the center front is about 1 inch. So this is what I'm going to advise you should do. Once you are done drafting it, when you want to cut out on your fabric, go ahead and add extra 1 inch to the center front, not the side though, because the side is longer. Go ahead and add extra 1 inch to the center front. Okay, remember you are going to cut the side front separately. So when you are cutting the center front, extend the length on your fabric by extra 1 inch. Then still go ahead and add your 1/2 inch for joining allowance. So the total length you are going to be adding at the down is going to be 1.5 inch. Extra 1 inch for the length and 1/2 inch for joining allowance. So by the time you are done sewing your own, if there's any excesses, you can go ahead and trim it out. It is better than for you to have shortage, okay? So guys, I've gone ahead to sew it. This is how it looked like. So this was what I did. I went ahead to start sewing it from the shoulder to the down parts. So you can see the excesses around the down. So what I'm going to be doing now is to go ahead and notch the side. After notching it, I'll go ahead and iron it. So for you, please make sure you add extra 1 inch. So if you add extra 1 inch at the center front, by the time you are done sewing it, it will be equal, or maybe the center front will be longer with at least 1/4 or 1/2 inch. You can go ahead and trim it out. So I'll just go ahead and iron the joining part open like this. Once you're done notching it, iron it, okay? So guys, the reason why I am pointing out these errors is because in case you also experienced it, you will know what to do. That is why I told you guys the mistakes I made and what I would have done, okay, if I knew one is going to be shorter than one. So for you, go ahead and add extra 1 inch. I have told you. So once I was done ironing it, I will just go ahead and fold it into two like this. After folding it into two, then I'll go ahead and place my ruler on this excess part. I'll mark a slant line from the side like this onto this other part. Then I'll go ahead and cut out these excesses at the side front. So if I have knew that one is going to be longer than one, I think I would have added extra 1 inch. And if I added extra 1 inch, so I'll go ahead and arrange it like this. So just take your time and arrange it properly well, okay? So by the time you are done arranging it, go ahead and measure the up part here, which is the shoulder line. Check if it's up to your shoulder measurement. So my shoulder is 8 inches. What I have here is 8 inches. So if, for instance, your shoulder is 7 inches and you end up having 7.5 inches, go ahead and cut out that 1/2 inch, okay? If you don't cut it out, it's going to affect your shoulder. The next thing I'm going to be doing is to mark the depth of the neckline. So I'll place my tape on the shoulder and mark how deep I want it to be. So I went ahead to mark 6.5 inches, just like as I earlier said. So I'll also mark it on this other part. Once I'm done marking it, I'll connect the points together like this. So guys, please take note. I later went ahead to reduce the depth of the neckline by extra 1/2 inch. Remember I marked 6.5 inches. I later went ahead to add extra 1/2 inch, which now make it a total of 7 inches. The next thing I'm going to be doing is to mark the width of the neckline. So I will place my tape on the shoulder line. I will mark 4.5 inches inward like this. This is how wide I want the neckline to be. Then I also come to this line I rule here. I will also mark that 4.5 inches here. So if your shoulder is 8 inches, you can make use of 4.5 inches. If your shoulder is 7 inches, go ahead and make use of 4 inches so that it will not be too wide. I will place my tape on this line I marked here. I will mark half of my shoulder measurement on this line. Half of my shoulder measurement is 8 inches. I will mark 8 inches. Then I'll go ahead and connect from that point to the top like this. Can you see it? I have SS's there. Then I'll also go ahead and connect it onto the armhole like this. Then I'll go ahead and cut out the SS's. So this was what I was talking about earlier. So just make sure you retake your measurements, okay? So I'll go ahead and mark a straight line from the shoulder to that line I marked. Then what I'm going to be doing now is to place my tape here like this. I'll come down by 1 inch for shoulder slope. So I'll go ahead and mark a slant line from this point to this point here. I'll mark a slant line like this. So I'll go ahead and curve this sharp edge a little. I don't want it to be sharp, so I'll just go ahead and curve it a little. Then I'll go ahead and cut it out. So whatever you do for the main material, that is what you're also going to be doing for the lining. Please take notes. So this is how it's going to look like. You can see that the neck is so wide. So what I'm going to be doing is this. I will go ahead and resew this dart area, this dart here. I'll go ahead and resew it a little bit so that the neck will come together a little bit. So it's normal. Just go ahead and resew it a little, okay? Can you see it? If you hold it with like 1/4 inch, it will come back. But if yours is not like this, no problem. But mine is like that. So I will take it to the sewing machine and just stitch it down a little with 1/4 inch, okay? Just stitch it. It's normal. Once I'm done sewing it, the next thing I'm going to be doing is to stitch down this area, okay? I'll just go ahead and sew the armhole as well. So the next thing I'm going to be doing now is to cut out the back neckline. So I've gone ahead to turn the back part, as you can see. Then I folded in 1 inch for zipper allowance and I gave it a very good press. So this is the pieces I cut out from the front neckline, the square neckline. So I'll go ahead and fold it into two like this and place it from the zipper area. Then I'll mark the shoulder, like the wideness. Okay, I want the wideness of the back and the front to be the same. So after marking it, I will just mark 4 inches downward. That is how deep I want the square neckline for the back to be. 4 inches. Just go ahead and mark down 4 inches. You can go ahead and mark down 5 inches depending on what you want. So after I was done with that, I just went ahead to curve this sharp edge here. Then after curving it, I'll just go ahead and cut it out. So guys, I've gone ahead to cut it out. This is how it look like. And also don't forget to come down by 1 inch for the shoulder slope. Connect it to the neckline just like as I did for the front. I did not show that part in this video, but just cut out the shoulder slope. The next thing I'm going to be doing is to turn it to the back like this. After turning it, I will take to the sewing machine and stitch it like this to this point. Then I will do the same thing for the other one, okay? So guys, I've gone ahead to stitch both the back and the front. So this is the front lining, as you can see on the desk. So this is the front lining. I went ahead to fold the lining into two. So I also went ahead to fold the front part of the dress into two, the main material. I went ahead to fold it into two. Then I will place it on the lining like this. Then I will pin it down. Can you see how I am arranging it? Just go ahead and take your time to arrange it. Then I'll cut out the shoulder, the excess around the armhole. Then I will go ahead and cut out the neckline like this, okay? I just want everything to be equal. So after I was done cutting it out, I'll just go ahead and remove the pin, then open it up like this, just like as you can see me doing. So after I was done opening it up, this is how it look like, as you can see. So I'll go ahead and place the lining on it, right side facing each other. Just go ahead and take your time to arrange it. So I'll go ahead and pin it like this. Just go ahead and pin it round. So after I was done pinning it, I will take to the same machine and stitch it around like this. I will also go ahead and stitch the side like this, okay, with 1/2 inch. Just stitch it with 1/2 inch. So guys, I've gone ahead to sew it. The next thing I'm going to be doing is to go ahead and notch it, okay? So make sure you notch the curved part. So I will open it up like this and top stitch on the lining, okay? So go ahead and top stitch on it before you sew the sides together. So guys, I've gone ahead to top stitch on it. I've gone ahead to sew the side. This is just me ironing it. Take your time to iron it, okay? I love ironing my. So after I was done ironing it, I'll go ahead and stitch the down together, then stitch the armhole, then I'll go ahead and stitch this other side, okay? So this is the down part of the front. So what I'm going to be doing here, actually I went ahead to make a design on it, okay, but I'm going to be skipping this part because at the end of the day I went ahead to cut it out. So I'm not going to be explaining this. I actually went ahead to make a curved, like a round curve design on it, just like the same way the maid dress is, okay, the one we use as the inspiration. So that's design at the down, which they actually use patches for. I wanted to create something with this main material, but at the end of the day I ended up cutting it out. So what I'm going to be doing now is to go ahead and place the upper part of the top to the skirt part. I will pin the waistline together like this. After pinning it, I will take it to the sewing machine and sew it down with half inch. Just go ahead and sew it with half inch. By the time you are done joining it together, this is how it should look like. So for the back, I've gone ahead to sew the dart for the back and also join the upper part and the down parts together. I also wanted to iron in 1 inch for zipper allowance. So what I'm going to be doing now is to go ahead and join the two back together. Okay, I will just place it right side facing each other. Then I'll go ahead and pin the waistline together. I will pin the top, then I'll pin the down. Then I'll go ahead and measure where I want the zip to stop. So I'll place my zip on it like this from the neckline down to where I want it to stop. So I will just mark this part here. So I will take to the sewing machine and sew the remaining part from this point where I marked down to the down part of the skirt or the gown. So I've gone ahead to sew it. This is how it look like, as you can see. I've gone ahead to sew it, and also I've gone ahead to sew the front parts. So I'm going to be joining the front and the back together right now. The next thing I'm going to be doing is to shaping the dress. So I'll place the front to the back part like this, right sides both facing each other. Then I'll go ahead and stitch down the shoulder like this with half inch. Just go ahead and stitch it down with half inch. Then I'll go ahead and shaping it just like as you can see me doing. I will divide my bust by 2. I will mark it, divide my hip, divide my waist by 2. I will mark it, divide my hip by 2. I will also mark it on the hip line, okay, like this. Then from there, I'll just go ahead and mark a slant line from the hip line down to the hem of the dress. So if you check the down part of the dress, just take a good look at it. You're going to see that it has something like a curved, right? It is curved. So I wanted to curve it and sew it. That was what I was trying to explain to you guys earlier. But I'm still going to be cutting it out, okay? At the end of the day, I still ended up cutting it out because the gown was too long. So I wanted it to stop at least 2 inches below my hip so that I can add the plaits to it. After wearing it, that was when I discovered that it was too long. So sorry, I went ahead to lose the sides, okay, just like as you can see on the screen. I went ahead to lose the sides. So what I'm going to be doing is to place my tape at the down part like this. I will measure 7 inches upward. I actually measured 5 inches before, but I later went ahead to change it to 7 inches. Okay, so I'll just measure 7 inches upward like this. Then I also mark it on the other side. So I'll go ahead and connect the points together. After connecting it, I will cut it out. You can see that I've gone ahead to cut out a lot from the down. So the best advice I will give is when you are drafting on your pattern paper, you can come down by 3 inches or 4 inches from your hip line, okay? So after cutting it, I will turn it to the back like this and cut out the front, just like as I was saying. So come down by 3 inches or 4 inches. So that length is going to be okay for you. You can go ahead and sew your ruffle or your gather on it. So I'll place my tape at the middle at the front part like this. I will mark 4 inches upward, then I will mark a curved line like this. Remember there is curved around the front part. The front is not straight like the back. So I'll just make sure you go up from the middle of your front part by 4 inches or 3 inches, depending on what you want. Then mark it up, then cut it out, just like as you can see me doing, just to give it that curved around the front part. So I will just go ahead and mark a slant line from the hip line to the hem like this. Then I'll go ahead and sew it down. I hope you guys understand now. Then after sewing it, I wanted to stitch down the part where I cut, which is the curve line around the front and also the back. So I'll place my tape around this zipper allowance, this place here. Just watch where I place my tape. I'll go ahead and measure it round, okay? So what I have is 52 inches. So I'll go ahead and cut this out on my Mercury Mikado. This is Mercury Mikado. I've gone ahead to cut it out and join it. So as you can see, I've gone ahead to fold it down, but I'm going to be losing it up later, okay? So the wideness that I have here is about 11 inches. 11 inches. So I'll just go ahead and measure the length that I have here. This is 52, 1. Then this is 52 again, 2. So this last one was not up to 52. I have about 40 something. So if you want your gather to be full, please buy 2 yards of this Mercury Mikado. So I will take this to the same machine and gather the top. So after I was done gathering it, I sewed it to my dress and it was so light. Can you see there's no strength on it? So what I wanted to do was to lose it down. Then I wanted to cut out the shiny face I bought earlier, the one I wanted to use to lining the main material. So I wanted to cut it out and use it to lining this down part. After I was done lining it, I went ahead to gather the up. Can you see it? So I'll just go ahead and fold it into two like this. After I'm done folding it into two, I will notch it. You can see that the down part now have a strength. Then I'll go ahead and fold the dress into two and mark the middle. Can you see how I am folding it into two? So I'll notch the middle, okay? Then I'll go ahead and pin the middle of the down part, which is the gather part, to the middle of the dress. I'll just go ahead and pin it round, then go ahead and stitch it round with 1/2 inch. So once you're done stitching it round, if you want to buy patches and use to design the down part, you will need to first of all sew it round first, then go ahead and buy the patches and use your gum to gum it on it just to have that design at the front part of the inspiration. So for me, I did buy any patches. I just went ahead to sew it round, okay, and that was how I wore it. So guys, once you are done sewing it round, you will pick the back like this open part. You will place it together like this, right side facing each other. Then you go ahead and stitch it down with 1/2 inch and sew it on that zipper allowance, okay? So guys, I've gone ahead to sew it. This is just me using my electric hot scissors to cut out those threads or fabrics that are pulling out. So for you, if you don't have electric hot scissors, go ahead and use weaving machine to weave it. So guys, I'm going to be ending this video here. On my next video, I will be teaching you how to make the puff sleeve, right? So please, if you know this tutorial was really helpful, go ahead and like and comment. If you have any question, go ahead and ask. Please, before you start drafting, make sure you watch the drafting video and the sewing video for the sake of the corrections that I made, okay? Please take note of the down part, most especially. Don't allow the length to stop around the nail line, okay? Except maybe you want your own gather to start from the nail line, no problem. So allow it to stop where you want the gather to start from, maybe 4 inches below your hip line or 3 inches, and make sure that hemline is a shape, okay? So already talk more on this. That is why this video is even long. This is the first time I am making this kind of dress. Yes, mistakes are bound to happen. So that is why I want to also correct it. Bye.